Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Evening Devotion. Before we start tonight's video, I have to make sure I clarify. I've been emailing back and forth with people all day long. I make sure to clarify that in that video I did about Stanley and his mother, I stated in the video, you cannot PayPal him. PayPal does not work in India. So evidently several people tried to, even though I said you can't, because it doesn't work there. I thought it was going to. It doesn't, because it only works for commercial or business. It doesn't work for personal. There are two apps that do. One's called Wise and one's called Remitly. I don't know anything about them. There's a lot to go through to get it, to be able to send it. If you want to go through one of those, you can. I think we already have Stanley's information on it. The instigator of this whole thing was a guy named Mark Becker. He wrote an article about this. And he's a columnist that writes about religious subjects. In his article that I linked in the pinned comment on that video, he gives all the details about sending a check or doing electronic transfer and the information that you would need in that article. You have to go click on that and read that because there's a lot of info. I talked to Mark. I emailed him and talked to him, and he said he was happy to take money orders, and he'll cash them and add them to what he has currently that is going to Stanley. And I sent mine off today. I emailed Mark, said, hey, it's on the way, and I emailed Stanley, hey, I'm sending this to Mark. So everybody's in agreement on that, working that way. Mark said he would be happy to take money orders if you want to send them to him. Now, you cannot share personal info on YouTube. So I told you guys, in the pinned comment especially, you have to email me. In the following video, I told you have to email me, and I will give you Mark's information that he gave to me to mail this to him, to mail a money order to him. If you don't want to go, because the check way is very complicated. But it's that way because of India's regulations. So money order is easy. It goes to Mark. Mark collects everything together and sends it to Stanley. So you have to email me and ask for that information. And I can give you that information. Now, unfortunately, I was at a doctor's appointment today for most of the day. So I was trying to email back and forth and try to get a couple of people the information. But several people were trying to get me to take donations. I don't have time for that. I can't. I'm currently taking care of my mom and my mom's property and mine, and we might be getting ready to move here shortly. So I'm in and out a lot. I can't take donations and then get them sent off from there to Stanley. I'm not familiar with the process, first of all. Mark is. So the easiest way right now, the best way, unless you want to try Remitly or Wise, the best way, I don't think Wise works. I think we thought it did. But the best way is, and the easiest way is to make out a money order for what you want to donate. It's very safe that way. And email me, and I will send you Mark Becker's information. And you mail it to him, you make it out to him and mail it to him. He cashes all of them and collects it and puts it with everything he currently has. And it will all go to Stanley at one time. Don't try to PayPal. PayPal does not work in India for personal accounts. It doesn't. Evidently, like I said, a lot of people tried and it got kicked back. So you can't PayPal. A lot of people were commenting saying, why don't you try PayPal? PayPal doesn't work. You can't go through PayPal. It will not work. But now you can do an electronic transfer, which Mark Becker mentions in his article. So you got to go back to that video and click on that link in the pinned comment and read the article, and it tells you what to do and the information you need in order to do an electronic transfer right to Stanley's bank account. Now, I'm sure that's a separate account that he uses to gather everything, and that's the safe way to do it, and it's a smart way to do it. But it gives you all the information you need to do a direct electronic transfer to him. You can do that if you want to. But just so you know, PayPal does not work. I cannot take donations. And you have to email me to get Mark's information if you want to do a money order. But all the other information is in the article he wrote that I linked. So go and do that. So please, don't try to send him money through PayPal. It does not work in India. It doesn't. Only for commercial and business accounts. That's it. Because they have codes that decide what the money is used for. And you have to have that code. Well, PayPal doesn't support that. So please do not try to send him money directly that way. I wish it worked, because then it would be easy. Go right into his hands, no problems. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So we have to jump through a few hoops. But Mark has been so gracious enough to step up and put himself out there and allow for us to send the money orders to him, and then he will make sure it goes, because he's collecting and sending it all in a big lump sum to Stanley. And so again, if that's what you want to do, email me. My email address will be in a pinned comment. Again, don't try to send money. Don't send anybody money through the email addresses. You can email me, and I'll give you Mark Becker's information if you want to do the money order. Everything else is in the link, which I'll also put in a pinned comment in this video, to his article, where he talks about Stanley's situation and gives details on how to donate by check or by electronic transfer. So currently, we don't have anything reliable that we can do to just do it, like PayPal does. There are several apps that can, but we're not sure if they're going to work right or be safe. So nothing is in place in that right now. Stanley was trying to. He's hit some troubles with them, so we're just trying to keep it simple. To get, maybe later we can work something up, but right now we're just trying to get any donations that come in to him to help his current situation, and we can deal with other stuff later. Then we'll have time to set something up. I've been in and out, over the last couple of weeks so much that I haven't had time to have a long conversation on this. So please, no PayPal. Don't send PayPal. I left the email addresses so you could email those guys and talk to them and communicate with them. Offer your condolence, or not your condolences, offer your encouragement and your prayers. But there's right now only 3 ways we can do this as far as donations go. So again, check the pinned comment. You'll see the article from Mark Becker, and you'll have to email me if you want to do the money order, so I can give you his information to do that. Okay, that out of the way, because I've been emailing everybody for the last couple of days. Nehemiah 3:8, and they fortified Jerusalem unto the broad wall. It's really important that whenever I put a video out like that, you watch the whole thing, because then you'll get the details you need, so that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Stanley was freaking out. He's like, "Did you just try to send me money?" He goes, "Man, all kinds of people have been trying to send me money through PayPal. It doesn't work." I know. I said it. I'll make sure to say it again. He's pretty hopeful. He's pretty hopeful that the body of Christ will pull through it, and I am too. Like I said, I sent mine, and if you can't afford it, don't send it. Here's another point that I need to make sure I drive home. The Lord may lead you, put it on your heart to do it. That's good. Motivation, the Lord takes into account. But if you can't do it, don't do it. Don't send it. Keep your money. Other people will donate. Because if you're struggling, it's okay. As long as you got the heart, the motivation in your heart to do it, the Lord takes that into account. He weighs the intents of the heart. But if you don't have it financially, don't do it. Don't hurt yourself trying to do this. People who can send, you send what you can. Hopefully it'll be enough, and get them some kind of help anyway. But like I said, we have 3 ways, and that's all we can do. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to hurt ourselves, and we don't want to cause problems and create an issue, because banking institutions will put a stop to a lot of stuff if it goes wrong and looks too suspicious. So make sure you check the pinned comment on this video, and I'll have Mark Becker's article and my email address there, and I can give you that information for the money order, which again is what I did, because I don't use checks. I don't have them. The whole verse says, "Next to him, Uzziel, the son of Harhiah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs. Also next to him, Hananiah, one of the perfumers, made repairs. And they fortified Jerusalem as far as the broad wall." Let's go up to verse 1. Rebuilding the wall. Oh, that was the dog. I heard somebody making noise. Okay. All right, rebuilding the wall. Guys, you aren't going to believe this. I went to my doctor's appointment. Because I had an older doctor from Poland, my original primary for years. He transferred, and ultimately he's going to retire and go back to Poland. I got a new one. She graduated, and she's gone. And then I had another one I was supposed to go see, and they left. And then I had to talk to another guy today. So I was getting juggled around today. And he's like, all right, so why are we here? This is my normal appointment. I'm just here. We do the normal checkup. Oh. And then, of course, it went into all kinds of other stuff. And it's like, dude, I ain't got time for this. So what can I do for you? Just refill my meds. Set up another appointment. I'll come back. But, hey, I might be moving, so keep that in mind. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. They are very helpful up there, though. I will say that. Audie Murphy's a good hospital. Rebuilding the wall. Then Eliashib, verse 1, the high priest rose up with his brethren, the priests, and built the sheep gate. They consecrated it and hung its doors. They built as far as the Tower of the 100 and consecrated it. Then as far as the Tower of Hananel. Next to Eliashib, the men of Jericho built. This is interesting. You know, Jericho was thought to have been a fabled city. Yet here's the men of Jericho working. And, of course, they found the city. And next to them, Sakur, the son of Imri, built. Also the sons of Hasinah built the fish gate. They laid its beams and hung its doors with its bolts and bars. And next to them, Meremoth, the son of Uriah, the son of Koz, made repairs. Next to them, Meshullam, the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabel, made repairs. Next to them, Zadok, the son of Baana, made repairs. Next to them, the Tekoites made repairs, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work for their Lord, and they got judged for that. I think we read that yesterday. Moreover, Jehoiada, the son of Paseah, and Meshullam, the son of Besadiah, repaired the old gate. They laid its beams and hung its doors with its bolts and bars. And next to them, Melatiah the Gibeonite, Jadon the Maranathite, the men of Gibeon and Mizpah repaired the residence of the governor of the region beyond the river. And next to him, Uzziel, the son of Hariah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs. Also next to him, Hananiah, one of the perfumers, made repairs, and they fortified Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. And next to them, Rephaiah, the son of Hur. I wonder if they had a child named Ben. Leader of half the district of Jerusalem, made repairs. Next to them, Jediah, the son of Harumaph, made repairs in front of his house. And next to him, Hattush, the son of Hashabniah, made repairs. Malachijah, the son of Harim, and Hashab, the son of Pahath Moab, repaired another section, as well as the Tower of the Ovens. Next to him was Shallum, the son of Haluhesh, leader of half the district of Jerusalem. He and his daughters made repairs, and it keeps going. Everybody's getting in on the action of fixing the city. And I think this was after the first. When they were sent into slavery in. Oh, come on. Why can I not remember the name of the city? The one in Iraq. Babylon. They were in that for 70 years in Babylon. I think this was the first time. Cities well fortified have broad walls, and so had Jerusalem in her glory. The new Jerusalem must, in like manner, be surrounded and preserved by a broad wall of nonconformity to the world. We have that today. And separation from its customs and spirit. We see that big separation happening today all over the place. The separation between the earth dwellers and the citizens of heaven is becoming extremely obvious. As well it should, because that time of the end is coming. I got something to add about that, some stuff I heard today. I'll share with you at the end of this about that very subject. The tendency of these days break down the holy barrier and make the distinction between the church and the world merely nominal. Professors are no longer strict and puritanical. Questionable literature is read on all hands. Frivolous pastimes are currently indulged. Yeah, that's true too. and a general laxity threatens to deprive the Lord's peculiar people of those sacred singularities which separate them from sinners. Now, the general laxity, that can be considered lukewarmness. And we know there was a church that was guilty of lukewarmness. Now, more specifically, a general laxity wouldn't put you in that category, but it puts you near there. A full laxity, a full indifference of the things of God definitely puts you there, because that's what lukewarmness is. In fact, if you look up the word in Greek, and that's what it tells you, it's a indifference to the things that pertain to God. So you see Christians that just don't care, but they call themselves Christians, that's probably lukewarm, if they're even saved at all. But there's supposed to be differences between us and everyone else. There's supposed to be differences that people can notice. Even in our communication, how we communicate, it should be evident. It will be an ill day for the church and the world when the proposed amalgamation shall be complete, and the sons of God and the daughters of men shall be as one. Then shall another deluge of wrath be ushered in. That's the rapture right there. Ken Johnson had a good video on. I listened to it on the way up there to my doctor's appointment in San Antonio, and he was talking about the apostasia and how it technically means both. There's been a big debate. Does that the great apostasy, is that the departure, or is that departure from truth? And he says, from what we find, it means both clearly, and even the Hebrew seems to confirm that. The Hebrew of the New Testament, when it's translated. And he also talked about the restrainer. And it makes it clear in that too, that the restrainer is the Holy Spirit indwelling the believer. So the believer in Christ is the restrainer. We have to be removed out of the way. So what they found, it confirms what we already knew. And it takes all the other stuff people are saying and it throws it out the window. Nothing will happen until we are removed. Now, again, what I'm going to share with you at the end of this plays into that. And then when we're removed, a deluge of wrath be ushered in. It'll be a flood of wrath. Beloved reader, be it your aim in heart, in word, in dress, in action to maintain the broad wall, remembering that the friendship of this world is enmity against God. What do we see people trying to do today? Have friendship with the world. We see leaders. We see the local constabulary. We see pastors. We see regular Christians taking a hands-off approach as it pertains to the takeover of this country by the Muslim Brotherhood. They won't stand up and be counted. Well, this is a difference between a believer and a non-believer. Because a non-believer says, why are you letting evil, the religion of Satan, take over this country? Stop it. What's wrong with you? So we can pray against that kind of stuff. And pray against it we did. May do it again. There's no reason for this stuff to be happening. We're letting the enemy take us over from the inside, and we're just, hey, can't we all just get along? No, we can't. And there are some Christians that are sometimes they say they feel guilty for having violence in their hearts against this stuff. Jesus said, sell your cloak and buy a sword. The time is coming when you would have to fight. Not every occasion, but there are times you might have to, especially if it's in defense of another. And you're justified in having violence in your heart against the evil that is trying to take over. I've already made it known what I think. Take away. See, and here's something interesting to consider. If a person from Iraq comes to America and gets their U.S. citizenship, are they American? Technically, no. They're an immigrant from another country, legally. Legal immigrant from another country. But technically they're not American because they weren't born here. If they have a passport, they're not American. If they have a visa, they're not American. Americans are people that were born in this country. That's an American. And that's a whole other can of worms to open. My stance is, they know who they are. That's why they got all this AI nonsense. They know what they're posting on social media. It's not hard. They save it all. They got the big giant server. There's a big giant server room right over here by my place. I'll be glad to be moving away from that area. They got big giant server rooms all over the world, underground. Now they're putting them above ground. That's what those data centers are. The hint you get is in the name, data center. Why do you think they're storing data? On us. And they needed to ramp up their storage capacity because of how many people, over 8 billion, they're having to store data on. Why do you think they're building these giant server rooms? And they're so big and so technologically advanced, it takes liquid to cool the servers down. That's why there's a problem with water. They're storing every bit of data they can on any of us so they can search it at a moment's notice and use it against us. It's not rocket science to figure this out. Not hard to see what's really happening here. They couldn't hide it underground anymore. They had to bring it above ground. And it will be the downfall of mankind. But here's the thing. Identify those people that are the enemies, because there are some that they just want to live and be happy and just keep it to themselves and just be at peace and be here in a country where they're actually free. Okay, cool. We got you. Happy to have you. But it's the enemies that need to be dealt with. Take away their citizenship. Take them to their country they came from, their home of record, and bar them and ban them from ever entering America again. Get rid of them. Kick them out. They're enemies to the country. You can take some of the politicians up there in Washington, too. They are also enemies to this country. Why are you letting them run for office? Why are they holding down political office if they are clear, admitted enemies to the Constitution and this country? Take away their U.S. citizenship, throw them out of the country, and never let them return. That's my stance. And I have a unique perspective on this because I fought this mentality in Iraq. You cannot reason with it. You can't change it. Period. End of story. If you want to try, go for it. It will not go the way you think it will. Ask all the people who have already and how it ended for them. This reminds us, let's see. The broad wall afforded a pleasant place of resort for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, from which they could command prospects of the surrounding country. This reminds us of the Lord's exceeding broad commandments, in which we walk at liberty in communion with Jesus, overlooking the scenes of earth, and looking out towards the glories of heaven, separated from the world and denying ourselves all ungodliness and fleshly lusts. We are nevertheless not in prison, nor restricted within narrow bounds. Nay, we walk at liberty because we keep his precepts. Come, reader, this evening walk with God in his statutes. Now, there are people who say you have liberty, but you don't do this and don't do that because he told you not to do it. Right. Well, how is that liberty? Because I have the liberty to choose not to do it. Do you want this brand new 2027 Chevy Silverado? Or do you want this 1967 Rust Bucket Chevy? I'll give you the liberty to choose which one you want. You have the liberty to choose. I have the liberty to choose not to do something. That's liberty. They don't understand. It goes both directions. That's liberty. We have liberty to say no. Most powerful word in the human language. No. As friend met friend upon the city wall, so meet thou thy God on the way of holy prayer and meditation. Key things. The bulwarks of salvation thou hast a right to traverse, for thou art a free man of the royal burg, a citizen of the metropolis of the universe. You and I are children of the Most High God, of the royal bloodline of which there is only one. Brothers and sisters, when we're changed, we will commune with angels. We're going to judge angels. We're going to see the Lord in his glory and be like him. We are these people right now at this very moment. How should we be conducting ourselves? Now, keep in mind, it won't be perfect. None of us can do it perfect. It wasn't meant for us to do it perfect this side of heaven. But we can do better. And we should do better. Excuse me for 1 second here. There is so much dust and junk Can't get no air through my nose. Whew. False alarm, I guess. False alarm. I just had to go get some nasal spray. Relax. So, we have the freedom not only to do what the Lord told us to do, but to not do what the Lord told us not to do. A lot of people don't understand that perspective of it. Well, you deny yourself this and deny yourself that. How is that freedom? How is that liberty? Because I have the freedom and the liberty to say, no, I don't want to do those things. I'm an adult. I make my own decisions. They asked me today at my doctor's office, because my weight is always a problem. That's the first thing they address. So we got some GLP-1s and stuff. I said, nope. I have heard really bad things. And he started nodding his head. And I said, muscle loss and other issues that are permanent after they get off of them, I'd rather stay fat. I'd rather be overweight, man. I'd rather just deal with it. I don't want to run the risk of permanently damaging myself more. And like my rheumatologist, he said, you're better off not. Because it could really mess with you. And this doctor I talked to first time I ever saw him, he kind of agreed. He goes, with everything else you got going on, yeah, there could be an adverse reaction. I said, I'm not willing to take the risk. Things are going real good where they are. I'm able to deal with this. I don't want to change anything if I don't have to. We have the right to say no. We have the freedom and the liberty to say no. And it's okay to do that. We have more liberty than anyone else. You know, the earth dwellers can't say no. They can't. Hey, we want to come take over your country and put everyone to death that doesn't convert. Oh, sure, come on in. They can't say no. We can't. No, you cannot. Go home. Another really weird scenario that is coming up is the individuals in this country that are fully supportive of that and want everybody to convert that, like what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan, and North Texas, more Northwest Texas, but just barely. The stuff that's going on there, they're also the same people that are trying to push the agenda of the trans stuff and homosexuality involving kids. They don't realize that the religion they're supporting and propagating and wanting to have control and authority over others is the same one who will go after those individuals, the trans and the homosexuals, and take their life away from them. I don't understand where they're getting the mentality from to think that that's going to work. But see, here's the thing. When you get down to the core of it, it's all Satanism. Ultimately, that's all it is. I've been having discussions with people around me about this. It ultimately, when you boil it down to its finest its most common denominator, it's Satanism. They don't have a choice. They can't say no to it. And they cannot see what they're doing and how they're destroying them, not only themselves, but others. And that's not even counting the wrath of God that's coming upon them in the equation. They can't say no. We have the liberty to say no. So when you think of liberty, when you think of your freedom, you have the freedom to say yes and the freedom to say no. Remind people of that. You can say no too. It's okay. It's okay to tell somebody no. They'll be fine. They'll get over it. Their life will not stop because you didn't say yes and come into agreement with them. I will not agree to disagree with anybody. I did that all my life. I'm not doing it anymore. And I tell them when they say, well, we're going to have to agree to disagree. I tell them, no, I will not agree to disagree with you. One of us is right and one of us is wrong. And the one that's wrong, and it may be that scenario, the one that's wrong is going to have a really bad time. And the one that's right is not. I will not agree to disagree. I don't have to. I have the liberty to not to. Why can't you just be like everybody else? Because I'm not like everybody else. I'm a child of the Most High God, of the royal bloodline. I'm supposed to be different. Duh. What did they think? That's how it works. So we have this amazing calling to take us that direction to be radically different than the world. Now, will it invite disaster? Yeah, absolutely. But what do we say in the face of that when they come and they get in our face and they attack us? Well, we don't need you in this world, Christian. Then do what you think is right. Send me to be with my Lord. It's a benefit to me. I don't lose in this equation. You may have a short time without me here, but I'm coming back. And my Lord is going to be in front, and you're going to have to deal with him. We don't have to be like everybody else. Now, what is that going to mean? I've personally experienced this. It will ultimately mean being ostracized. Most people you know won't want to be around you because of the way you talk and the way you act. Now, you don't have to be like a big, bold professor. People will be able, the unbelievers, the earth dwellers will be able to sense this about you, and they will naturally not want to be around you. Something about him, I don't. And I've had them where I've never even met the person before, and they tell me, "You're a Christian, aren't you?" Never even said a word to them. Yeah, I can tell by looking at you. Now, I didn't know that was a good thing until, a few years ago. But now I know that that's a good thing. If they can look at you and you never said a word to them, they can tell you're a Christian. That's a good thing. But here's the thing: what does that say about them? Are they a Christian or not? I don't know. But there should be a difference. There should be something that separates us from other people. Like, look at the people of the world today. They see nothing wrong with what's happening, not realizing the disaster that is the tidal wave, the tsunami of disaster that is building behind all of this. And when that gate breaks open, that wave will come flooding across all of society. They don't know what they've started. But other countries who have done what we're currently starting to bleed into, they're now pulling back because they realize a huge mistake they made. And we got these people running for office. They need to start looking at them and okay, tell us this, interview them. Okay, you know what? You're a moron. You do not need to be holding any kind of public office. Go home. Go write for a newspaper or something. Get out of here. Go work at Walmart. You're not going to hold office. We need to start being a little stricter with our guidelines on who we elect into these positions and allow to be elected into these positions. They're talking about AOC running for president in 2028. Whose idea was that? Are you serious? Every time I hear her talk, it's like I'm listening to a 14-year-old girl from high school complaining about somebody getting her shoes dirty or something. The woman is not smart. What would make them think she would be a candidate? Well, it's because they don't have anybody else they can put in that position. It's ludicrous to watch what's happening and not be upset about it, or to watch what's happening and just think everything's hunky-dory. Well, that's the earth dwellers. See, Christians see what's happening. We know what's going on. Jan Markell had Michelle Bachmann on and had some clips from Brandon Holthouse's speeches he was doing yesterday, day before maybe. I listened to that today on the way back, and they were talking about the stuff that's going on, how people they don't see any problem with it. Well, here's the problem. If you're in Dearborn, Michigan, and you're listening to prayer being broadcast 5 times a day, one of them is at 3 a.m, that's a problem. We are not in United Emirates. We are not in Saudi Arabia. We are not in Iran or Iraq or Turkey or any other Muslim country. If they want that, let them have that in their mosque. It doesn't need to be out in the open. This is not an Arab nation. It is America. Oh, but we're a melting pot. Yeah, here's the thing. Everybody that came over here when America was formed didn't try to change America to make it like them. They kept it to themselves. Got places called like Chinatown or Little Hong Kong or Little Tokyo in different areas. And that's where a lot of your shops and stuff are at. But they don't try to change America. They have their little area. They all go there. They do their thing. And they're happy to be Americans. Same with the Poles. The oldest Polish town in the United States is here in Texas. It's actually just south of me. And they got a thing in there of all the names of the people that were in there. We went and looked. Our names weren't in there. But they got all the names in a big book in the church there. Stuff in it. They didn't try to change America. They integrated like normal people do when they come here. When you got that kind of mentality that doesn't integrate, No, we're just going to change it. No, get out. Time to start putting bacon oil and pig oil and water guns, and having our dogs near us. Dogs are offensive to Muslims, and of course, obvious with the pork oil, pig oil. Anyway, there's a difference between Christians and Earth dwellers, and there should be a difference. Now, on the lighter side of things, with what we have going on here as far as the rapture goes, since the devotion mentioned it, I have heard a couple of things today. So one person was talking, and they were saying a lot of people are starting to talk about September 26th to September 28th. One says one day, one says another. This year of a great time for the rapture, because if you go back to 2017 when the Revelation 12 sign happened, and you count forward 9 years, like 9 months of pregnancy, it comes up to that time in September, and they're saying that may be a good day for it. I don't think so, because you picked the date, and it's probably not going to be the day. If you're expecting it on that day, he's coming at an hour we do not expect. Probably won't be that day. And of course, I'm of the camp with the Dead Sea Scroll Essenes calendar. You know, when it in Psalm 90:10 basically. A generation is 70 years, 80th by strength, but its boast is labor and sorrows. Well, 2028 is the 80th year. Now, that doesn't mean that that's when it's going to happen, but that's a pretty good likelihood. And we're like 2 years away. Now, other people have brought up that when Jesus died, and we have documents that prove this conclusively, when Jesus died and rose and ascended, it was in 32 AD. We'll go to 2032 for a 2,000-year age. That makes sense. In fact, that's how I got started on that, how I started my calculations. And then the Essene stuff just kind of mixed in there with it. But the big thing is that the Essenes make it very adamant and very clear, and they are 100% accurate on everything so far. Make it adamant that the year 2026, March of 2026, starts the final 50 years. 2076 is when we step into the millennial reign. So that's a 50-year time frame when everything has to unfold. Well, let me tell you something. September 26th or 27th or 8th of this year, 2028 sometime, 2032, all that stuff all falls within that 50-year time frame. So here's what I'm saying. This next 50 years is the last. Now, keep in mind, too, a lot has to happen. So you're not going to have it where this is going to unfold and then instantly this starts. There has to be a build-up to these things. We see this happening right now, the build-up to these things. There has to be a build-up and then the crescendo. And when it hits the crescendo, that's when everybody around the world is affected, and that's the fulfillment of it. We don't see that right now. Like Daniel 8. Ken has been mentioning that. You know, a lot of that stuff that happened in the beginning of Daniel 8 can be attributed to Antiochus Epiphanes and some other guy, but they didn't fulfill it completely. There's still all the stuff that the Antichrist does, they didn't fulfill. So they aren't those guys, which means the prophecy was not fulfilled. It was a partial fulfillment, which happens a lot in the Bible. I think what we're witnessing with Iran right now is the refresher. Hey guys, remember when this happened? Well, here, look at here. And then now we're going to see the total fulfillment of it because of the time that we're in. That back then may have been why people thought the rapture would happen back in those times, because of Daniel 8 and what it said, because they understood what it was talking about. And then they see this guy doing this, but then he didn't do everything. He slaughtered a pig in the temple. That's not the abomination of desolation. The abomination of desolation is calling yourself God. How many people do we hear doing that today? Well, Satan, that's what he did. I'm going to be like the Most High. I'm going to be like God. That's the abomination of desolation. That's why Satan and all his little minions can't be saved. They did the abomination. They are desolate. There's nothing that can be done for them. That has not happened yet. And in order for that to happen, there must be a physical temple present in order for that to happen. There is no temple present, which means this is all future. But it's going to happen. And the way things have been speeding up, I saw somebody comment on a video earlier saying, has anybody else noticed that like a 7-day week feels like 3 to 4 days? Yeah. We're celebrating New Year's, and then all of a sudden it seems like we're 3 months in the year, like it just goes by instantly. I've been doing this for over 7.5 years, and it seems like it started yesterday. It's really weird. So we're in the time frame, and this is what I'm telling all Christians who are watching for the rapture, and I don't care what your position is on it. Here's what I'm telling all Christians. We are in the time frame for it to happen. Now, the little season, we may not know quite yet. It could be next month. It could be 2028 sometime. It could be 2032 sometime. I don't know. It's all going to go according to what the Lord has said. But here's the thing. And this is what I want you to always keep in mind. Please, I hope nobody skipped this. When it comes to this stuff, it's in His timing. There is a build up to everything, and it all must happen exactly the way the Bible has portrayed it. So we must investigate that. But this final 50 years is more than enough time for everything to be changed, us to be taken, everything to be destroyed, rebuilt, 7-year tribulation, destroyed again, everybody reconstituted, judgment, passings, all that, resurrections and everything, and everybody to be put into their positions, and the new temple to be built, and everything else to be dealt with and ready to go for the millennial reign. All of that can happen within this 50-year time frame, easily. And then sometime in 2076, we will start the millennial reign. Everything has to be ready, but we will start at that. So this time frame, plenty of time to get that done. Plenty of time for all that to happen. Almost a perfect amount of time for that to happen. Because I look back 50 years and I see how much has happened in 50 years of my life. We went from a TV was a piece of furniture, sometimes mounted with a stereo, to flat screen TVs. We went from landlines with an electronic voice machine to be able to catch messages, and you had some money if you had one, unless you got it at a garage sale, to supercomputers for cell phones. We went from having to have encyclopedias, and you had to have the year before and the previous year to do anything in school, which means you had really large bookshelves. Or you had to go to the library and use the Dewey Decimal System, which most people today don't even know what that is. When we got the green screen Apple II computers, we were able to search it up that way. They programmed it all in there. To being able to search the entire world's knowledge in seconds. That was just in 50 years. In the last 50 years, whole countries have been wiped out and completely rebuilt. In the last 50 years, whole geological areas have changed, and you can't even tell that anything had been changed. In the last 50 years, the things science has discovered boggles the mind. It's like, how is that possible? It's been in 50 years. So this next 50, all of this can happen in this next 50. No problem. And I'm a little excited to find out how it's going to play out. So we'll keep watching, guys. We're going to keep watching, and we're going to keep praying for each other. Lord, bless your people. Keep us strong and focused and motivated. We know the times we're in. We know what's happening. Keep us focused on you. Always on you, no matter what, for your glory and to the praise and honor of your holy name. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name. I'll see you in the next video.